But I'm looking forward to the new weapons. We said this before, like, I think I would really like to see, I think a Bard, I would like to see another support weapon in Albion. I think a Bard class would be amazing. One of the things we've talked about is stuff like, imagine, you know, because weapons have like relic weapon lines. So a good example is that like the bear paws, the bear paws are the keeper weapon. So like a keeper themed weapon, you'll get them from keeper dungeons and stuff, right? They're a keeper weapon. So imagine if you have like a Bard line and it's all focused on like buffs. So like reducing enemy damage or buffing ally damage, or like reducing enemy heals or buffing ally heals. Like it could depend entirely on what you said. They said they want their new weapons to be very combo focused. Like all the new weapons to give them a bit more intricacy and you know, interest within Albion. So, you know, you can have these different weapons. I think it'd be cool where the Qs and Ws could intertwine, where you could activate, you know, based on what Q and W selection you have, and you could make different effects. So it would like be a lot of diversity to the weapon line. But imagine like you're going into a ZVZ. You're going into a ZVZ and you have like this massive keeper wardroom, and your guys are going in and you're like dum 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 dum. You're like channeling this like buff for your team. And you got some guy with a big battle horn, and it's just like, you know, and then like damage boost for your team, and they all rush in. Like there could be so much cool stuff. Imagine how cool that would be. Like the ZVZ, just hearing the Bard weapons, the war drums and the battle horns, or like a hunting horn. So you're there as a ganker, and you're riding along, and all of a sudden you hear like, and it's someone like hunting horn, and they've just like buffed it, and you're like shit, you know, and like you just start running because it's like, you know, again, the gankers have come to find you, and you hear that horn. You know, there's so many cool things that they could do. There's so many cool things they could do with that. Your horn in the Minecraft dungeons. So I think a Bard weapon, because remember, it's got to be interesting. When you think of when I think of what do we want as a new weapon line on Albion, throwing weapons, okay, it would be cool, but we already have a lot of weapons that are thrown in Albion. The new weapons should be something completely fundamentally different that excite people and go, F me, I want to come check that out, right? So yeah, a Bard system like that I think would be absolutely incredible. Like absolutely incredible. Like across the game, and more support playstyles I think are really interesting as well. When it comes down to group stuff. So the Bard, whether or not they do the Bard line through the Hunter tree, because this is the next tree to have the new weapon, or the Mage tree, I don't know. But I guess it would make sense for the Hunter tree, and we don't really have those support weapons on the Hunter tree. Like we do on the other weapon line. So I think that would make so like a Bard line I think would be really cool for the Hunter line. Now for the Mage line, again, people have talked about lightning staffs and stuff, and I think, okay, like, well, we've got elemental damage. We already have fire and frost, and you know, then we've got like the curse staff and arcane for the support style and something there. But what would be different enough for the Mage line to excite people and to be something completely different to what we already have in game? And again, what I think would be really cool is something like a druid staff, like where you can transform into a creature. You have the basic weapons where maybe you can transform into like a bear or something, and then like similar to how the Forge Hammers work, when you transform, you get different abilities. If you could transform with the E, would be like your animal form. You transform into that, and then you can be a bear like wailing on people. You know, perhaps the Keeper one, if there's a Keeper artifact for one there, for example, lets you transform into a stone giant, you know, a rock golem. And then you're doing like CC crowd control effects, like punching the ground and sending the big rock wall out to knock people out and to knock them back and stuff. Or a spider, and you could put down webs to like slow people down. You know, perhaps even a dire wolf, where you transform into a dire wolf. And you know, and you're chasing after someone to attack and put bleeds on, so you could use that like in with a ganking group. Like all of this sort of stuff. It could have one for like gatherers, had one focused on like travel and transit, escape. Have one where you can transform into you know, like they could have a Morgana staff where you could transform into a raven, for example, a bird. And then you get the bird abilities, you get to fly and stuff. Like that would be, and then the Q abilities for that could be kind of summoner-esque abilities. We talked about in the past as well how difficult summoner abilities are in Albion. But imagine like with the Morgana staff, where you can turn yourself into that Raven, for example, we're talking about. Imagine if you can have those Q abilities where you summon the crows, like the Morgana bosses have, where you can put down the ring that summons crows and does damage to people who try and cross it. So like that could be like you know, like some of the crow abilities, or some of the stuff that the Raven has itself, for its actual abilities, just like summoning those things, or like travel stuff. But also like just the QW lines on the weapon could be like, okay, like you have a Q where like you send out like a, you know, just a strike of birds. You get a flock of birds or whatever that come down and just attack your target, do a little bit of damage over time whilst the effect's on, and you just have like these birds like circling around the target. You know, like a wolf summon attack that would kind of just like send a wolf in, like Frostlance, how Frostlance works. You summon a wolf in like one direction, and you aim it from where you want it to summon, and it just jumps out and runs along a line and just does damage along that line. You could have it so like the bear attack, where the bears have that stun, where they come up and they stun, where when they raise on their hind feet and they land and they stun. That could be like a W ability, where you summon a bear and you get this like, it could be not like an actual bear, but like a spirit bear, where you see this bear kind of stand up and then slam and then stuns, right? So there's all sorts of stuff I feel you could do with that, but I feel like that would be such an interesting and, again, fundamentally different weapon line, something we haven't seen and we haven't had before. So that would be my choices personally. Would be like a druid staff, allowing players to transform and have access to a different set of abilities for the mage line, and then for the hunter line, a bard line. That would be incredible, absolutely incredible. I can't remember what the titty milk tastes like, honestly. That's something I never thought I'd say on stream, chat. It reminds me of candy. You know those candy necklaces? I don't know where you're from. We have them in the UK. You have these like candy necklaces where you can like, you know, they're like little like that chalky kind of candy. That's what the titty milk tastes like. Like exactly that is what titty milk tastes like. Again, to clarify, the Gamer Subs titty milk flavor, 10% off now with code NomadGG. We're not just generalized talking titty milk. I'm gonna shut up now. I'm gonna stop talking, chat, because yeah, this is an interesting arc that I didn't think we'd take.